doing in 2 weeks' time when the external verifier comes. What I've done is I've prepared the base already. Okay, so you'll have to do this in the time. It's a 45-minute assessment. Okay, so you can't do this outside the time. So what I've done, you'll be given a new wreath frame. So you need to do what we call chamfer, which I know some of you can do. Just to show you, cutting off the corner. Okay. Yeah, and you're going to go all the way around. I don't want to do this and all the way on the inside. Work with it dry. Then with your hands, you're just going to shape it. Yeah. Some of you might not like the noise. Yeah. So you shape it. It's better to do it when it's dry rather than wet because it makes lots of mess. And then what I've done after that is I've soaked it under the sink. So it's just nice and soaked, yes. It's not over heavy, because you could get marked down if it's heavy as well. Yeah. Okay, but you don't need to be under soaked, it's really light. So you've got to find a sort of middle balance. Okay, so it's interesting because it says it's a 12-inch non-traditional vegetative wreath. So what makes it vegetative? What's the key things that would make it vegetative?
It's natural.
Natural,
things grow naturally.
How things grow naturally. So most of us would do a loose open wreath where we cut everything and all the flowers are short and very decorative. But this is a vegetative, okay? Now, at the same time, though, it's still for a funeral. So it's got to be realistic for a funeral. So you can't be like coming up here and out there, and it's got to be visually balanced to 12-inch. So probably as a height-wise, I would say that's your highest. So it's like a little miniature garden, but how things grow natural, which is up Jade Street. Okay, so looking at your material, I'm not going to do everything, I'm just going to give you some ideas, yeah? Think about your visual balance and obviously how things grow. So mosses might grow low, or they might be traily. Sunflowers, which I want to use, are quite big. So you've got to think about how you're going to actually use these so that it doesn't look too much. So I'm going to support wire. I think you have to. As much as natural you want it, I think you're going to have to. Now I'm going to do groups. So sunflowers grow naturally sometimes in groups rather than individual. Yeah. So I might do 2. The thing is, you're so limited with this amount of foam as well. You have to be careful not to go too high, because otherwise it really restricts you. I'm going to put 2 slightly sort of small to medium size near each other, and then I'm going to put 1 over here. You could do groups of 3, but I think that looks too false if you did that. It's got to be more sort of like that look. Don't want to be too. Let's probably cut that too short. I'll bring that one down a bit.
Are you doing it like front facing or something?
All round.
All round.
Got to be all round. Sort of all round of a pattern. Right, let's put that last one in. Yellow's quite dominant, so you're going to have some sort of yellow over the other side. Now, how would this grow naturally? Taller than the sunflowers? About the same height? Shorter? Shorter. Possibly shorter. So again, you've got to look at the top.
Sunflower can grow up to 6 feet. I grow them.
Okay.
You like tea as well. It's supposed to give them tea strength.
They
Massively.
like tea?
Yeah, they like tea, yeah, cold tea.
Do they grow in groups? Do they grow dotted?
They're quite tall, aren't they? Big, bushy
Like
kind of.
clusters, maybe. So you could do a cluster.
Depends on how you plant them.
Don't worry if you think it's looking messy, because that's really how the design is. It isn't too structured. Okay. Obviously, we're about to get suitable material in. These are slightly more shorter, probably growing. And they might grow in sort of groups. Scilla. So they sort of, unfortunately, some of the flowers are dying off now in the sort of the woodlands and things, but at the moment you sort of see them en masse growing, which is quite pretty. So think about your colour balance. Obviously, if you're going to put something at one side, you need to think about it going at the other sides as well. Yeah.
They remind me of hyacinth.
Yeah, they're very similar, aren't they? Now, you might, before you put your main placements in, also think about the base of your design. Obviously, you've got a cover. Moss is obviously a good thing to use. You might want to think about covering the middle first before you put your main bits in. So if you use moss, then pin it. Yeah, leaves, bark. If you've got bits of bark, you could incorporate in there. This is a little bit big, but you can incorporate that into your design. Just leaves normally as well. And then ivy. I mean, you know, ivy trowels. You might want to use ivy as your outside. You know, the outside part of your design, sort of coming round. So you're just going to have to remember it's just as natural as possible. Okay, so it's like little areas of how things grow naturally. Ivy grows sort of bunches. So as I say, it's 45 minutes. Obviously costing extra. You can come out a little bit because you think of the height of it. You don't. The 12 inches quite small, so you can come out a little bit if you want to create a bit more width to it. Ivy grows up, so you can incorporate it going up if you want to. The other foliage is going into a box because this grows sort of quite bushy and good for coverage as well. If you want to sort of use bits like this to cover your design. But what you've just got to be careful of is just not to, you know, cut something like a sunflower really short and put it there because it looks nice. As much as that does look pretty with the yellow, it's not how it grows naturally, and that's the key thing with this assessment. It's a vegetative wreath. So just keep remembering how things grow naturally. Yeah? So you may not get the opportunity to have a go at this today, but after half term we will practice this. And then obviously it'll be the assessment straight after. So we'll make sure we have all the material, right material in for that Wednesday when we come back after half term. Some of you may get the chance, Harley, I'm not sure if you want to have a go, start it. But at least you get a visual idea of what to expect and what to sort of remember. Yeah? I'll carry on, but you can carry on with obviously your bits as well, and then you can have a look after.